Okay, we're now in the vesting room where the microphones are. And of course, if you've gotten this far in the setup, you've already seen that this closet back here is where the PTZ camera and the roller bag are stored. The camera's down in this bottom shelf, or the microphones rather, in this bottom shelf are the ones that connect to the church's sound system. They're each numbered. This one is labeled for Paula. Unit over here in what used to be 23, there's a strip on the top that says Unit 2A, 2B, 2A. The little white sticker is labeled Readers. If we have more people than that, then we use these extra microphones here. Batteries for them are found down in this drawer. These just run off a general regular alkaline battery. They're usually good for 3 to 4 services. If they should fail, the green power light on here will turn red to indicate that the battery has failed. So we will take this one and we'll set this up on the reader's lectern. But also up here we have 2 more microphones. These are the ones for the band's microphone. This particular one here above number 13 is the one we're going to be using most. The sticker says Band Vocal Rob. This is what we hook up above his microphone when we get to setting up for the band. I'll show you how that works. But you'll find that one in here. Whatever you do, do not remove these clamps. They are preset. That'll cause a real headache if we have to try to reset those again. Alright, this is the church's sound system, as you know. To turn it on, we start this power strip over on this side. A little rocker switch at the top. We just heard the click. Each of these units controls 2 microphones. We turn them all on. The red LED above the switch indicates it's on. You'll see the painter's tape on here. These actually have volume controls for the input from the microphones. Somebody was messing around with them, so we put the tape on there. If anybody messes with that, they're not going to be able to get that tape off without tearing it, and that'll immediately alert us that we need to go reset them. Hopefully nobody will do it. So anyway, we now have this part turned on. We're going to look right now at setting up the reader's microphone. We have the reader's microphone that we took off the shelf in the vesting room. I used the lavalier clip to attach to the antenna just to keep it fastened. So we unfasten that. Unspool a little bit of the cord. And we clip it onto the top of the microphone stand here. The altar guild has redecorated for Advent, so the stand got moved. We want it resting just above the book. We don't want to risk if somebody should feel the need to pick up the book to better see it, that the sound would transmit up through the base. We simply set the transmitter right up here, and then about 10 o'clock, assuming a 10:30 service, but anyway, about half an hour before the service is due to start, you want to turn this on. And then you may turn it on earlier to do your sound check.
Okay, time to set up sound. I unpacked all of the normal service equipment previously. Now we've got to put it all together. I start off with a mixer board. In this bag is the board and its power cord. Its output cord is already attached to it. Leave it attached to it where it is. Don't unplug this cord that says to Mookie input 2. Leave it plugged into the back of this. It has to be in that port or we will not have sound. Its power cord. Plug the power cord into the back where it says DC in. Make sure to run the cord underneath the output cord. It lessens interference with electrical. Next, we want to grab the Mookie. The Mookie has been moved. It needs to be, there is a blue hymnal next to the stack that the soundboard is on. It needs to be over here to create less interference with the computer. Inside of the Mookie's bag, you will need to pull out the unit and its cord. One end is labeled to the Mookie back. It's a USB 3. There's also, on the back of it, it says USB 3. Plug that in. This comes and sits on the blue hymnal. This will go to the computer once it's unpacked. At this point, you take the output end from the mixer, plug it into input 2 on the Mookie. It sits here on the hymnal until we're ready to go. The 2 bags are done. Next one we want to do is the organ. It lives in this bag. Inside the double antenna is its receiver. The cord is in here. One end is unlabeled. It goes to the headphone jack for the receiver. This end is labeled channel 2 to mixer. It gets plugged into channel 2 to mixer on the back. They are labeled. We go 1, 2, 3. Don't go by what's on the front of the mixer. Go by the ports that are on the back, how they're labeled. The organ goes into 2. The transmitter with the single antenna gets plugged into the organ, into the line in port. We'll cover that when we get up there. Next one is the little zipper case. This is for the church's sound system. Inside of here, you have to put them together. You have one, which is the church's transmitter, and an antenna. The antenna gets screwed into the top of it. In the top zipper of the bag is the cord for the church sound system. This end with the noise filter on it goes into the second port in for the microphone. The other end will go to the tape out on the church's sound system. Next is the church's receiver. This also, you need to put its antenna on. Same place. In the center mesh area is its cord. This goes to the headphone jack on the top. The other end that is labeled, it will go to port 1 on the back of the mixer. Next, for a normal service, you have 2 congregation mics. They're labeled number 2B, number 1A. Inside of the hard case that's labeled congregation are the transmitters and the receiver. Double antenna is the receiver. The cord is in here. The unlabeled cord goes to the headphone out. The other end is labeled, goes to channel 4 on the mixer. Congregation 1A microphone goes to receiver transmitter. goes to boom mic that's labeled Congregation 1A. It is plugged into the microphone jack. One is labeled line in, the other one's a symbol of a microphone. We want the microphone one. Next transmitter is B. The other one is labeled 2B. Same spot, microphone jack. These are what you will need for a normal service, where only the organ is playing and the congregation is singing and the band is not playing. Okay, for a service that the band is playing, you need the hard case that says band. You need the other hard case that says band vocal. And you need the two band boom microphones that are labeled band 1 mic and band 2. Band mics, there's a receiver. Double antenna is our receiver. The cord is in here. The untagged end goes into the headphone jack, just like the other receivers. This end is labeled channel 3 on the mixer. That is the band's dedicated channel. Transmitters are labeled band 2. Plug it into band 2's boom mic. Same place as before, microphone jack. Band 1, same way. We now need one extra band transmitter and receiver to pick up Rob on vocal. We also need a clamp out of the front zipper. When you pull out the clamp, make sure it has a silver nut on the top of it. Inside of here, we have two transmitters and one receiver. We need the receiver. Double antennas means receiver. This one doesn't have the ends labeled. Take an end, goes into the headphone jack, just like the others. This goes to channel 5, which is the last port on the mixer. It's the only one that's not full. It's labeled Rob on the front of the box. That's mainly who he is attached to, is this one. You also grab transmitter, it says Rob. Mic clamp attaches to the back of this. We have to attach this to Rob's mic stand with the boom mic that goes with his transmitter. This is how we get the best sound vocally for the band. Okay, congregation mic number 1A, we've had to move it. This is its new window, which is basically right next to our video pew. It's in the Chettleman's window. You want to set it up with the transmitter. Slide the transmitter behind the pictures and get the boom mic so it is positioned that it is completely on the shelf and not sticking out, because somebody will run into it. And then make sure it is facing this way, so where the cone is coming out here to pick up the congregation. Okay, congregation number 2B is in the same window as it was before when we did this. It's Carol Kylander's picture. Set it up the same way, put the transmitter up against the window, angle the microphone to be completely on the shelf, not sticking off, and so that way the cone goes this way so we can pick up the congregation on this side of the room. All right, we're up at the church's sound system. Big black box right down here below the receivers. You want this lower right-hand corner. This says tape out. The gold end goes into tape out. Take the cord, run it over here. You have to position it this way. It has to be positioned this way with the antenna facing here, completely back on the shelf behind the prayer book. There's something here that interferes with the signal. So it cannot be touching the shelf here at all. It needs to be fully over here. Okay, last thing you'll need to do for a normal service as far as hooking up sound. This is the organ's transmitter. On the front of it, it says line in port. That's up here at the top. This splitter stays up here, does not get removed, does not get moved. Take it and you plug it into the line in port, push it in until it clicks. You're ready to go for a normal service. We will cover band setup in the next shop. Okay, we are in the back pew, up here by where the band is, and next to the sacristy door up here. This is the stack of prayer books that will stay here. This is band microphone 1. Set it up just like this. Stand the transmitter up in the spaces behind the Book of Common Prayer here, and angle it so that way it is aimed this way to get the best sound receiving off of the band's microphone and speakers there. To turn them on, you want to look here. There's a slider. So it says off, on, low cut. We want to slide it to the middle to be on. The green light will come on. The setting here should be negative 10 decibel. Quick check to make sure you are receiving sound. Tap the front of it. It'll blink red to make sure that you are receiving sound off of it. Microphone transmitter, there's a black button here. Push and hold it. The screen will light up to show you that it's on and show you the battery levels. Set it back as it is, and you're ready to go to the next one. Band number 2 sits here on top of the organ, on top of this hymnal. Angle the boom mic so it's angled up to receive sound from the speakers. The transmitter will sit here. This also needs to be at negative 10 decibel. It's turned on the same way. This is also turned on the same way as the other one. Push and hold till the screen comes on. All right, so you've retrieved the vocal mic that's labeled Rob out of the vesting room, out of box 13. Just unscrew the clamp from up there. And you also need Rob's transmitter that also has the clamp attached to it that you've done previously before you've come up here with it. First thing you want to do is take the clamp. We mount it about here on the bend. Take and bring it in. Don't over tighten it. Now this here, you want to take this, open up the clamp, attach it just below the nut, like that. This one gets plugged into the same spot, microphone jack. These are all turned on the same way as the other band mics. Rob's band mic should be at 0 for the decibel on its setting, and it's turned on the same way. Okay, placement of the receivers. You've placed out all the transmitters, everything is set up, ready to go. This is how you need to place the receivers back here. The church's receiver needs to come over here on top of the rolling bag. Needs to be over here. This minimizes the interference that we get. The congregation's receiver needs to be here, with the antennas pointed this way to minimize our interference. The other ones are here. These aren't so specific as the order that they're in, but keep them spaced out enough so that way they don't try to interfere with each other. And try and keep the cords not crossing over as much, and especially don't have anything sitting on the Mookie. It does interfere with reception on the transmitters and receivers. All right, guys, this is how we've got to repack this bag for everything to fit in here and also so nothing is damaged. The hard shell cases run 3 across. The small zipper case that holds the church's sound comes right up against it, leaving this space here. The Ziploc bag with the cords in it for the cannon, put that up against the wall here. The cannon, always make sure that its lens cap is covered. it will go face up, just like this. In between the zipper bag and the cannon, the black bag that has all of the power supply and the converter that was up front, it will go right between it. This keeps things from moving and then leaves just enough room in the back for the Canon's SD converter. Next, you want to take the black bag that was the PTZ's cord and his capture card, put it on top of all of this. It will squish, just like you're packing a suitcase. That will be there. Next, you want to put the Mookie in. Take the Mookie will fit. It is the right size to fit just like that. Then you want to get the mixer, have the power cord to the side of it so it looks just like this. Set it right in here. That way it will lay down flat. Next, you want to take the organs, lay it right in here. And then all of the boom mics will lay right in here on top of the mixer. That way no cords are pinched and nothing gets damaged and no settings gets changed. This will close up. In the front, as always, put the tripod back and slide the clamp in. If you use the band's vocal mics, slide the clamp in the zipper in the front, zip them up, and it's ready to go. Then it and the PTZ goes back in the vesting room.